Welcome to the Double A Sports Podcast, minor league feel with major league discussion. Here are your hosts, Alan and Alan.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Double A Sports Podcast, Episode 7. I am Alan, and I'm also here with my best friend.
What's up, guys? This is Alan. So, yeah, baseball.
It's back.
Finally had some games.
Yep, we got in spring training this week.
You know, it's nothing special, but at least we can hear the crack of the bat, the glove, and
See some prospects get some at-bats.
yeah, you know, it's early spring training. Pitchers only get maybe 2 innings, so they'll start stretching out probably this week and going into next week. So, but yeah, definitely already seen some quick highlights and stuff already. People not missing a beat with hitting home runs.
Yeah, but another thing I'm seeing a lot of errors in spring training so far.
Yeah, like
I've been seeing botched double plays. I've seen today there was a game. I saw one of the players for the Rockies versus the Cubs, the first baseman for the Rockies, misplayed an infield fly.
ouch.
Yeah.
Yeah, luckily it's the first week, so get this out of your system now.
Right.
And hopefully it's not a prospect, and then you're probably ruin your chances.
Man, I got to watch a couple of games because my son's home. I've been with him. He has the flu. So, like I said, I've been seeing a lot of errors. I saw a botched throw to second. Even the outfielder botched the play after it was overthrown. It's been a lot.
Yeah, then like certain people, like I know like J.D. Davis and the Mets got injured today diving for a ball. And it's a little too early to do on that, especially in spring training.
Yeah, bad routes by Tebow on a home run ball.
Yeah, you can tell it's spring training prospects and God.
Yeah, I've been seeing most of the errors have been due to the sun, things like that. They'll get it figured out.
Yeah, I know like Wilson Ramos had a ground rule double that the wind was and the Marlins players didn't go in the outfield to see how balls were flying.
Right.
So it's kind of like, come on, guys, it's Florida, it's windy, you know.
Yeah, the wind definitely played a big factor in some of those plays I watched for sure.
Yeah. So, yeah. And I know we had a couple people hit some home runs, nothing really special.
The only special home run that I want to bring up is Timmy Tebow. He hit an Oppo Taco today.
Yeah. Is finally his first big league camp spring training extra base hit.
Yep, and it just so happened to be a 2-run home run against Detroit.
Well, that game got out of hand before all that happened, but, you know, it is spring training.
Yeah, and another thing I liked that I saw in spring training, it was the Blue Jays and Yankees game. One of the Blue Jays players, Anthony Alford, stole second, third, and home.
I heard about that. I didn't see the clip yet, but
If he keeps that up, he might make the opening day roster.
well, you know, it is the Blue Jays. You know, they're a couple years away. We'll talk about it when our AL breakdown later, but
Right.
all these people, especially the Blue Jays and these other players, are definitely competing for a job.
Absolutely. Another highlight I saw wasn't a player, it was a fan. One of the Rays fans made a diving one-handed catch on a foul ball down the first base side in the Yankees-Rays game. It's definitely a top 10 ESPN play, if you ask me.
I think I saw that, and people were like, is it too early for a non-guaranteed position workout? I was like, man, already? Like, we're already, there's better fans, you know, making plays, but hey.
And then the craziest thing I've seen so far, during one of the games, one of the fans had their luggage sitting on the field down the line, like it was in play. Their airplane luggage.
Yeah, because, you know, there's not really bullpens, and especially spring training, and some of these facilities are single A and, you know, facilities. But, like, come on. Like, if you're a fan of baseball, why do you, A, have your luggage with you, and B, let's put it over the fence in fair territory?
Well, maybe they just got the planes like, I'm missing the game.
Hurry up. It's in my way.
Right.
No one's going to notice it right here.
Right.
We're in the outfield.
It's crazy. Do you have anything else you want to talk about in spring training games so far?
Not really. It's too early. You know, that like people are starting to focus on what matchups and like who's going to battling for what positions, pitcher rotation. So
Okay.
most of the people, at least most pitchers done one outing. Like DeGrom's the only one I know of that hasn't, but he did a simulated game today. So I'm assuming, and I think Noah goes tomorrow.
Okay.
So most of them either today and tomorrow are pretty much getting their first spring training action. So we'll start seeing, like, especially pitchers going 3-4 innings starting probably the next couple of days.
Okay, great. Well, another piece of news that we've found out about over the weekend has to do with a Derek Jeter jersey.
First of all, like, how do you give up this jersey that was sold in auction? This was Derek Jeter's debut jersey. It's signed. It says MLB debut. I didn't look into who had it, how it got to auction, but it did get to auction, and now it's the most ever for a modern jersey.
How much did it sell for?
It sold for $369,000.
Wow.
And, he just made the Hall of Fame. So, that's probably like, look, he's now Hall of Famer, first ballot. He missed by 1 vote being perfect. But
right. It makes me wonder why was it sold as well? Did the guy type
I'm
for cash?
hoping he was tight for cash and like, look, he's in the Hall of Fame now. Let me go and put it for auction now. Maybe he'll get me some money now since we know he's a Hall of Famer. Even though we all knew he was going to the Hall of Fame. It was just a matter if he was going to be perfect or not. He was first ballot.
Right.
So me being questioned like, okay, so that's the most modern era. What's the most ever? And of
Okay.
course, I knew it had to be a Babe Ruth jersey.
Yeah, obviously.
So the new, which sold this past summer,
Let me guess. Before you tell me, I'm gonna assume that it sold for $1.5 million.
you're way off. It sold for $5.6 million.
Well, hey man. Babe's
Before this,
jersey.
it was the record was 4.4 for a Babe jersey.
Was it a Yankee jersey?
Yes.
Okay.
And it looked ugly because
Oh,
back
yeah.
then there was nothing, just said Yankees.
Oh yeah. I'm
I'm
not
like,
surprised.
God, I'm like, man, $5 million for a jersey that's probably just gonna sit in your house. But hey,
Is it autographed?
no,
Oh wow.
it's just a game used jersey.
I would need that to be signed.
I'm like, wow. I understand, it's Babe Ruth jersey. It's special. Like, honestly, I probably would rather have a game used bat.
Yeah, me too.
Like jersey, okay, yeah, he wore it, but something that he especially hit a
Yeah,
home
but
run
it's
in.
slugging with.
Yeah, like that stick and then like the way the old bats look. I think I'd rather have that in a display case than a jersey. Even a jersey I'll take, but I'd rather have a bat.
I don't know, man. I think my collection could look pretty dope with $5 million worth of other stuff.
Yeah, like I
If you got it,
guarantee.
you got it.
Yeah,
If you got it, you got it.
Definitely, but and then of course let's stick with the Yankees with all this Jeter and Babe Ruth talk. We have one of our first injuries, which Luis Severino went to New York. Well, today it came out what the injury is going to cost the Yankees. And
Right.
it's Tommy John.
Right. So Luis Severino has to get Tommy John surgery. How do you think it's going to affect their season?
It's going to be, okay, yes, he missed a lot of time last year. They did do well. But now you got to factor in, you lost CC for retirement. You lost Paxton for possibly 3 to 4 months. So that's half the season. If he somehow, but he says he's doing well. He's going to start pitching soon. I'm sorry. If you have surgery on your back right before spring training, how are you almost ready to start throwing pitching?
Right.
So he's going to come back maybe June, July at best.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to miss half the season with 2 pitchers. Now they got to hope these 2 young guys they had kind of waiting in the AAA, they got to step up. So you have Devin Garcia and Clark's Smitten
Okay.
is possibly the 2 young guys that they're looking at that's going to definitely stepping out with 2 pitchers. Or, of course, there's a couple of veterans out there they can sign.
Oh, yeah. They could sign some veterans. I mean,
It's that time where this is why the veterans get that minimum. It's like, okay, like my biggest name that's out there is Jason Vargas.
oh, yeah.
He
Yeah.
could be that 5th inning
Absolutely.
starter, that 5th starter for them.
And it's not like they need a lot from a pitcher because they're going to get the run support.
And they have one of the best bullpens in baseball. So really you need
Right.
6 innings.
Somebody go to 5 or 6.
So we'll see what they do. But if the young guys come up, then when Paxton and these guys, it's going to be real hard to get these people down.
Well, plus they can see what happens in spring training. Maybe there's a trade to be made or somebody who gets released that they could use.
Oh, yeah.
My question is, Luis said he was feeling discomfort during the ALCS.
Yes.
So why did they wait so long to get this checked out?
So pretty much game 3 of the ALCS, and after that, they shut him down. They thought maybe it was just something, let's just shut him down. But wouldn't you get it looked at right then and there?
Yeah, especially if the season's over. Like, go get it checked out. This is the time. Not now before the season starts.
Yeah, like, okay, like when you lost and you didn't make it to the World Series, okay, let's go and check it out. Let's get them rehabbed and start early. Because if they did realize it then, have surgery, so it's October, you're still talking about where he can possibly play off maybe at best.
Right.
Which pretty much what he did this past year was he didn't come back till right before the playoffs.
But even if not, you know earlier, so you know what you need to go out and get.
yeah, because then by then, if you're like, oh, you're down a pitcher, like, okay, we're going to sign Derek Cole because we need that ace. And now we're losing our pretty much was our ace. Now our number 2 is now gone. We got to find something else. I don't. I wonder what the Yankees were thinking of. Like, did check it out? Because I didn't really look into it if they did. But is it something they could prevent it, or who knows what with them? So we'll see if this is going to cost them anything now with down 2 pitchers and got to go to 2 inexperienced young guys or possibly veterans. We'll see what they do probably the next week or so. We'll probably know more information.
Okay. All right. Well, moving on. So the next thing up on our list is we can't seem to get away from the Astros. So let's go ahead and bring up how their spring training has been going so far.
So, between their first ever game against the Nationals, they share the facility.
Yep.
Fans bring their
signs.
Their signs and poster boards and get confiscated.
Right. I thought this was free, like America.
I'm like, and one said, Houston Asterix, and I forgot what the other one said.
Right. But
like, come on. And then Altuve didn't play that first game. He played 2 games later.
Right. So fans at the first Astros spring training game. I mean, I know the game only lasted like 2 innings or something because of the rain. I don't think
it got rained out or something.
Right. Like that. But fans, they obviously want to go there and heckle the Astros because of what's been going on. But how are you going to go to a game and heckle the players for stealing signs and then get your sign stolen?
Right.
I mean,
someone posted when it happened, when I first saw it, like, damn, Astros are stealing signs. Right,
and that didn't stop fans from expressing how they felt. They booed any time that Astros were mentioned. I believe they even booed the mascot.
Yeah.
So fans are they're even banging on their seats to mimic banging on a trash can. It reminds me of a Doug Funny song, "Banging on a trash can."
Yeah, like we knew that this was going to be happening all season, and they're not going to let up.
And you're making it worse by trying to take their signs from them. This is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, all right.
Especially it's a facility where they both and they're national fans. So I saw the hats and stuff.
Right.
And I'm like, they're both their stadium. I understand, but which security was it? Was it Astros, Nationals? I decided just to cut it all out.
Yeah, I mean that's crazy.
I know some stadiums do ban it, but you should have been let in if that was the case. They should have been stopped at the ticket entry.
Right, and like you said, none of the Astros starters played Saturday, so Scherzer was a little disappointed with that. I mean, I know it didn't last long, but he was disappointed that none of them were there because he wants to pitch to the guys.
Yeah, even though he did dominate them in the World Series for most part, but hey, he wanted his extra shot.
Well, I know the commissioner put out a stern warning that he doesn't want anybody to aim at the Astros players, but
yeah.
Yesterday, Altuve got hit by a pitch.
Yep, his first game, his third at bat.
Right, and then today, Jake Myers was hit in today's game against the Marlins. So that's 2 games, 2 people got hit.
Yeah, of course, it wasn't intentionally, or it made it look that way. Who knows? But this is definitely going to be something to watch come the season.
Okay, so back onto that. You said it wasn't intentional, and I agree at least on the Jake Myers one when he got hit. But this brings up another question of mine regarding the rule change. So today I was watching Guzman pitch for the Marlins, and he ultimately gave up a grand slam, which brings up the topic of the three batter minimum. What if a pitcher just doesn't have his stuff that day? Are we supposed to watch him struggle, or is the team going to be put in a position where he has to face 3 batters regardless? You know what I'm saying? Like if can't find the target. Are you going to force him to throw against 3 guys?
Yeah, because they're definitely going to force it. I think it was March 13th, 12th. So they get 2 weeks to figure it out. And then once it gets that time, they're going to have to start facing 3 minimum come mid-spring training.
So what I'm saying is if the guy comes in and he can't find the target, that's going to be crucial. If you know he doesn't have it, you're giving up. You're basically loading the bases.
Yes.
And that's what happened. He hit the first guy. Probably unintentional, but then he just couldn't find it for the next 2, and he gave up a grand slam today.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's definitely it's gonna be something we gotta watch with this rule. I knew it was gonna be something that was gonna stick with MLB because of lefty specialists and stuff like that. That's their job to get this one guy out, but now they can't.
Exactly.
They have to get 3. So a lot of those lefty specialists lost a job ultimately with this rule.
So what do you think they're gonna do? I mean, are they gonna keep some lefties, or they're going to have to change the way they approach the game?
I think, I looked at Mets roster, which projected opening day roster. There's only 1 left-hander in the bullpen because of this rule.
That's big.
So wouldn't surprise me if other teams are, because it's going to be very hard to have a lefty specialist if you got to get 3 players out.
Well, the only thing I could say is if the Astros players continue to get hit, we're going to have to keep a tracker of this.
Oh yeah, like when spring training starts, I think we're going to have to put like a whiteboard or something up. Like
I agree.
How many got hit since this last couple of days? Like, oh, we got 4.
Absolutely.
And see if we get to that under of what I think 83.5 or whatever it was Vegas had.
So we know that everybody now hates the Astros more than the Yankees. But with that being said, what about the Red Sox punishment?
So it was supposed to come out this week. We heard early, but now the commissioner and, of course, Major League Baseball said it's going to come early March now.
Okay.
So the first 2 weeks of March, we'll get something, which it needed to happen before the season started. Let's go and clear it, figure out what they did. And what people are hearing, it's less than the Astros for the organization standpoint. Now, Alex Cora might get different because he'll be a mix of both Astros and Red Sox, whatever happened.
Right, but I can't imagine the Red Sox getting more punishment than the Astros. There's got to be a lesser
And
degree.
mostly was because they got caught early, which the memo said about using the Apple Watches and stuff. So we'll see what all they used.
Okay.
But it's definitely going to be interesting to see when that information comes out because, Cora was with the Astros with the whole, him and probably Beltran were the main people in that locker room that did it, and then Cora went to Red Sox and happened to win the World Series next year, and then there's possibility of sign stealing there with Apple Watches and whatnot. Who knows? But this has been going on forever, but these are just the two teams that have probably the too much evidence because Cora played for both or
Right.
managed both at least.
Okay.
So yeah. But then I didn't know this news was coming out today with the World Baseball Classic venues getting announced, which I couldn't believe it's already been time for that.
So the Marlins are going to host in 2021, but it seems like they're going to host
all the rounds,
including the championship round.
Yeah. So last time they were just the early round when we discussed about possibly going because it was who was the big team? It wasn't USA. Maybe it was, or was it? It was Dominican Republic or Puerto Rico. It was one of the big teams for that group that had
maybe it was
Miami.
Japan.
I can't remember
Because I know I wanted to go to one of the games with the Japanese fans.
Yeah, maybe. And then the finals was in, I think, L.A. Dodgers that year.
Maybe
last time.
that's probably where Japan went then.
Probably.
So you're probably right. Puerto Rico.
I think there was one in Japan or something. First round.
Right, because
the
I was
group
watching
play.
at 4 a.m.
Yes. So, but yeah, but this year with the Marlins, possibly one of the worst teams in baseball, Derek Jeter found a way to highlight his stadium and bring the World Cup back there for every single round.
Yeah, that's big.
It is. Like, not only just like, okay, we're group play because, there's always been Miami's host a couple times for just group play, Arizona, but you were able to hope group play, quarterfinals, semifinals, and then the finals at Miami.
Yeah, man, that's going to be crazy. I think we need to find a way to get down there because I love the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah, especially like you can go down there and see like some little bit spring training and then go see at least the opening round, a couple games just to say we went. I'll be totally down with that. So
yeah, and if I remember last time they had the World Baseball Classic out here, the tickets weren't that bad.
It wasn't bad for the first round. Like when we looked it up, it was like where you can get 2 games for a certain price. Yeah, it's upper deck, but I'm like, it's it's baseball. You don't need great seats to enjoy the game.
That's true. So
we'll definitely see when that happens, and they're growing the teams or something to like 20 teams this year or something. So, and then it's going to kind of, we'll see if this sucks because the possibility of the Olympics being canceled since baseball's finally back in it.
I hope not.
Because of the whole virus that's going on.
Yeah,
so
the coronavirus.
So if it doesn't get under control by May.
Right, that's when they're going to make a decision.
And then it's going to really hurt a lot of different athletes because this is every 4 years, and some of them, this might be their last Olympics. And then, so what they do, postpone it to next year?
I honestly don't know. I guess we'll find out more when we hear more.
Yeah, because this will be a first ever, I feel like.
Are they bringing back softball too?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So this is going to be great. I hope they don't cancel it because I missed the baseball and softball.
And then it's
Olympics.
like a first time for like skateboarding.
Oh.
Because they added baseball and softball back, added skateboarding. And I'm like, finally, yes.
Okay, great. All right.
So, yeah. And especially Tokyo. Like, they've been ready for this. And like they're rebuilding Universal to have the Mario Land for the Olympics.
Okay.
Something open. So, man, this is really
going to
shock the whole country. This is what they've been planning for years, and then get canceled because of this stupid virus. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Well, a bit of lighter news. Come to find out that Madison Bumgarner has a double life.
Man, when this story broke, like I was like, "What do you mean living a double life?" And then that he was apparently professional on the radio circuit.
Well, he was doing this offseason, I think.
No, they said apparently he hasn't done it since signing with the Diamondbacks. Apparently this
okay.
has happened when he was with the Giants.
Okay, well, apparently he was going under his name of Mason Sanders.
Yes.
Which I think Mason, if I'm not mistaken, was a nickname that his wife calls him in public. And Sanders, I can't remember. It does have a tie-in with him as well. But he admitted to winning $26,500 in a team roping rodeo competition in December. This December.
So probably right before he signed. Maybe.
He even finished second in a separate solo event. So now, and you know what? It's funny. I don't know if you heard this, but today I heard that his former minor league team, the San Jose Giants, are having a promotion on June 5th, where they will be celebrating Mason Sanders Night.
Oh Lord!
It's gonna be complete with a jersey giveaway. I guess a shirt jersey, roping promotions, and special Turkey Mike's barbecue menu items.
Oh wow!
So hey.
Well, hey,
jump on it.
This is time for minor leaguers because, a lot of people are finishing up their promotion schedule to get people to come out. But
right.
yeah, I looked this up, the Diamondbacks GM was like, look, this is what he said, Madison's a grown man. Look, these guys are professional athletes. They're grown adults. They have lives outside of baseball.
True.
And most people were wondering, what about if he gets hurt? Well, there's stipulation in most contracts because he could have gotten in trouble, for example, when he got hurt in the dirt bike a couple years when he played for the Giants.
Yeah.
That's why Cespedes got the money, deleted from his contract because the when the wild boar chased him and he hurt himself.
Yeah, a lot of players get hurt playing basketball.
Yeah, there's basketball. There was someone else that they had, but like I said, this is not the first time if you get hurt, you're going to lose money or you're guaranteed. But
it's not like he's bull riding. I mean, he's doing roping competitions.
When I first heard, I'm like, excuse me, is he out there on the bull?
That's what I hope
he's not that dumb.
The best 6 seconds of life, or whatever.
Right?
Whatever.
But but then some of his his former teammates in San Francisco says they were aware of his activities, that it wasn't a secret. And veteran Diamondbacks pitcher with him now, Edwin Jackson, said he's a cowboy. He's proud of it, and he's been riding horses and doing this his whole life.
If it's not a secret, then why'd he have to go under a pseudonym?
I don't know. Maybe he's just doing special treatment. But like we said,
so like the Knights.
Like we said, does no one watch baseball? When we talked about this the other night, I guess not, because. Well, I don't know. If you're not that close, you're not going to see his face if he's wearing a hat.
It reminds me of in the movies and in those TV shows when the guys are jousting and the prince is over there undercover. He goes by different names, so they don't get special treatment.
Yeah. So definitely very interesting. And then sticking with some news and stuff, we have a little bit of Mets news.
All right, what we got about Mets?
Cespedes already broke his being quiet to the media.
Yeah, he was apparently not going to be speaking to the media at all this year.
Yeah, because everyone talked about him this off season. He made that video, which it's called Motivation.
Okay,
I love the video that they put out, but hey,
yeah. So apparently now he spoke to the media and said that if he can keep progressing the way he is, then he should be in the opening day lineup. I
would not disagree with that. If he can show that he can compete day one, why not?
So who's out? JD.
So with that, most likely what people have been hearing is JD and Cespedes will platoon left field. And if Cespedes is hitting home runs like he is in batting practice, can field correctly, what are we going to do with JD?
We got to trade him. I don't know what we need at this point, but I'm sure
the only
we'll find
other
out.
thing I think if we trade Jet Lowry, but he's injured, so most likely, God, that contract's looking worse and worse by the day.
I don't know, man. I usually think that in the past, we always seem to need bullpen pitching and catchers, but Wilson Ramos is raking. I mean, he even hit a home run the other day.
Yeah. He said he changed his swing this offseason, so he hit a ground rule double first game, then hit a home run.
Yeah. So
I'm like, well, if he can keep this up all year, there's our catcher, definitely.
And our bullpen seems to keep working at it. I mean, Familia lost 30 pounds or something like that. He thinks he's in better shape, and hopefully the closer that we thought.
And then Edwin Jackson apparently worked out with Pedro this offseason.
Okay, yeah.
To get his stuff back.
So, yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. But
and then signing Patel. Oh, wow. Am I drawing the name blank? Patel is from the Yankees.
Okay.
He's come from the Achilles injury, but he's been a shutdown reliever. So, and then Lugo.
Right. He could be a starting pitcher anywhere else.
So with Lugo, he actually pitched the other day from his broken toe and said everything felt great. So we'll see if he keeps progressing, if we see any spring training action from that.
And I've been saying this for the last couple seasons. Our outfield is always stacked. I mean, we had a Gold Glover on the bench the whole season.
And then and then we got a new center fielder who'll be defense and him and Nemo. And then the biggest thing is also Why am I drawing a name blank right now?
Conforto?
Not Conforto. He was our first base prospect until Pete took his job.
Oh, Dominic Smith.
Yes. He's been converted to outfield. Now he's even blocked with Cespedes.
We're going to have to trade him.
And yeah, he's so much talent. And, like, I think Conforto could walk in 2 years.
I don't want Conforto to walk.
I don't want
Conforto actually thinks that he's feeling great. He thinks this is going to be a breakout year for
he
him.
made that step last year. He needs to get the strikeouts down a little bit, the average a little better, but he had his best season home runs, RBIs.
Yeah, somewhere on social media this past week he came
lot
out
of people,
saying that he's going to do it.
A lot of people love Conforto.
I love Conforto.
I do. Like,
I've liked him ever since they kept bringing him up, putting him down, bringing him up, putting him down.
I love the draft pick. He was one of the best hitters in college when we drafted him, and he went really quick through the organization. So, and then this whole rotation, the Mets they're thinking about doing. So we all knew between Rick Porcello, Matz, and then Waka are competing for the final 2 jobs.
Yeah.
Well, what news came out today? It seems like Rick is solidified as the 4th starter. So I guess because he's defending. He's not defending, but he is a recent Cy Young winner. So he's a 4th. He had a bad year last year. He's going to be our 4th starter.
So Michael Waka and
Mats are competing for 5th, which made sense. But what they're thinking about doing is using them for hitting of the matchups.
Okay.
So this matchup, let's prefer Mats. Mats is going to pitch.
Okay, so you're saying that they're not going to pitch every 5 days. One guy's going to pitch depending on who the matchup is, and then the other guy might pitch depending on another.
Might go to be out of the bullpen.
So what I'm saying is, I don't know how they're going to sustain this. Like you're saying, one guy is going to pitch against the matchup, and then we're going to bring somebody out of the bullpen because he can't miss. He got to throw.
I think what this is if this is a scenario where they both have great spring trainings and they can't decide, maybe early on let them do this and see
figure out who's
going to win it,
and then work the other guy out of the pen.
Yeah,
or 6 starters.
Hey, it's sometimes that where it throws off. Your every 5 days you're used to pitching, but it's not a bad thing either.
No, I like the extra day of rest.
And then also they're thinking about apparently doing what the Rays have done the last 2 years, where
getting an opener.
Yeah, Gazelman or Lugo pitch the first inning or 2, and then send the 5th starter in.
Hey man, the way our bullpen's been, that might not be a bad idea. If you can get somebody like Seth Lugo or somebody to start it open for 2 innings, you get the other guy coming for 5, and then we get Familia, and then we finish it off. That might be a way to go.
Yeah, so it's worked for the Rays. Like, they've had back-to-back 90 seasons.
Although, even though Familia dropped 30 pounds, he's still not got me sold on his pitching because he always makes you sweat. Like, he used to be the guy in 2015 that would come in, strike out the side. We know what's going to happen. But then, all of a sudden, after that World Series, he was making you sweat. He'd get you out of jams.
No more.
Right. He would get the bases loaded, give up a run or so, and then finally get his job done. Even this time, I think he pitched already in spring training, and he gave up – well, I don't know if he gave up a run, but he definitely got a couple guys on bag before he got his job done. I mean, he's still not getting it
there
done.
Yet.
Yeah.
Well, it's still early. We'll see what happens. All right, so we'll take a quick little break for our sponsor. All right, everyone, welcome back. So now, since we talked about our weekly news, we're going to break down our AL predictions.
All right, AL, here we go.
So definitely going to start with the East. So, yeah. So, of course, my pick for winning the division, I think yours probably is too. But now, I don't know now with Luis Severino with the Yankees, could the Rays possibly knock them out if those young guys doesn't hold up?
They could. But at the same time, like I said, this is a tough division anyways. So it's going to be really tight regardless.
Yeah, so I definitely have the Yankees win the division. I'm assuming you do too.
Yeah, I got them winning the division. The only news that I had, their biggest transaction in the offseason was signing Garrett Cole, and we know what he can bring to the table.
Yeah, so pretty much I have, of course, they're defending AL champs. They lost to the Astros in the ALCS in Game 7. They did re-sign Brett Gardner and then sign Garrett Cole was the biggest 2 acquisitions.
Right, and this year I'm assuming they're going to have a healthier team.
Yeah, they lost, Potentes, Didi Gorias, and Maben. So the team is definitely high ceiling for this team to win. With Carlos possibly, coming back from injury, being healthy. Yes, you lost CC, but I think the biggest question mark to this team now is his pitching injuries.
Right. Well, I mean, I know the pitching is a big part of the game, but this team is so stacked in offense. I don't know if it's going to hurt them that much.
Yeah, I don't see them it can get closer, I think. If the pitching doesn't work out,
Right.
the bullpen is not there to maybe have another injury or something.
But if you brought a couple of guys in who are ERA averages of like 4, you're still going to do good because you got that offense that's going to put up 10 runs a game, man.
That was the biggest thing when this team all got together. We're like, they have no pitching yet.
Right.
And they still won 3 games last year.
Exactly.
But so I have them right now winning by 4 games, the division. So
Okay.
I think because that's why I was worried about the pitching. And now even with Luis now even being out for the whole season now, it gives me a question mark.
Yeah, I mean, if you think that him being injured will set them back that much, I mean, how many games do you think he would have won this season if we had to put an estimate out there?
Probably 12.
15?
12, 15.
Yeah, okay.
So, but my thing was that, and then Paxton missing 3 to 4 months. You're talking about possibly half a season. It's where it gets dicey.
Well, like I said, they're in such a good position. They don't need great pitchers to replace those guys.
And then like we saw with DJ LeMahieu last year, which came out of nowhere as this all-star power hitter in Yankee Stadium. So it's definitely going to be a very dangerous team, this lineup. So we'll see. Even with the average Giancarlo Stanton,
Right.
they're going to be even better than last year.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. If you bring him back and he's, half the guy he was when he signed that contract, he's still going to be a great player.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So who do you have at number 2?
I have Rays once again winning 90 games. I have 91 games. They won 90 games last 2 seasons. I really don't see them missing a beat yet.
Yeah, I got the Rays finishing second as well. In the offseason, they signed this is the biggest signing that I thought they had. Yoshitomo Tsutsugo. They got him on a 2-year deal for $12 million.
I think that's probably their only signing because
Was it?
everyone else they got was through trades.
Well, look how good this guy was, man. So the last 4 years he played in Japan. I mean, he's played there for about a decade. He's still not that old, but the last 4 years in Japan, he's averaged about 35 home runs, 93 RBIs, and a batting average of 293. That's his average in the last 4 years. He's also averaging 81 runs, and this is all in about 135 games per season. So those stats are pretty great. I mean, I think he can transition over here. If he puts up numbers similar to that, I mean, that's something to watch out for. So I think they got a steal on that one. But as you said, they also acquired Jose Martinez and Hunter Renfroe.
Yes. Through those trades, like I said, like this is a team like the Oakland A's that do not have money. They're a small market team, and they hardly ever, even homegrown players, really spend money. So when I was breaking down how many trades they did to improve their team, because they forced the Astros to 5 games in the ALDS. Of course, they were the wild card game winner against the Oakland, and they pushed the Astros to the breaking point. But with the young talent they have there, and then adding these guys through trades, I think they're thinking they're making that next step where they could possibly compete for the division through most of the year. And if not, they'll probably trade another player at the trade deadline to get them over that hump.
Okay. And like I said, the signing of Tsutsugo, I mean, he's already showing promise. He hit a home run yesterday, and I don't think he's made an out yet.
Yeah. And then I think the biggest thing with Rays, have they always been, since I can remember, they have one of the best minor league systems.
Yep.
They have 6 top 100 prospects. And remember, they have, I think 2 years ago, the Futures Game MVP and Brett Honeywell that's coming from Tommy John that's ready to start pitching this year.
Yeah.
So he can be called up and be that 4th, 5th starter that can get him over that hump.
Yeah, the Rays could be sneaky good. They could sneak up on the Yankees, especially if the Yankees are going to be injured. Who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah, like they stumble early and the Rays take advantage. They might not want to ever give it up. So we'll definitely see what they can put together.
Okay. The top 2 are definitely tough.
Yes.
And the rest of the division is tough as well, minus the Orioles. But if anybody else has a chance from this, I think we might be flip-flopped on this one because I know you already know how you feel about this team. But in my number 3, I got the Blue Jays.
I have Blue Jays too.
Oh, okay. So we don't feel that
I feel
confident
like
Red Sox, huh?
Yeah, I feel like what the Red Sox might do is lose early and start trading players.
All right. Well, let's get into the Blue Jays first. So since we both have them at 3, I felt like this offseason they were focused on getting pitching.
Yeah, because they called up their 3 big prospects, and they're both all infielders. So they all finally called them up this past season, saw them grow, and they needed pitching.
Right. So they signed Hyunjin Ryu to an $80 million deal. They also picked up Chase Anderson and Tanner Roark.
Yeah, They needed pitching. They got it. Ryu was definitely a shocker to me. We were kind of hearing, I was like, well, why not Dodgers resign him? And then Blue Jays made it. I'm like, well, that's what they needed. And
Did they got Vlad Jr.?
yes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
So
Vlad
yeah,
Jr.,
so they got some.
Biggio's son, and
Okay.
then
Cavan.
Bochy. So the infield is almost set with all these young prospects.
And that's a couple of guys that we even mentioned in our top 10s.
yes. So if they can see if they get the next step, that pitching works out.
If everything's clicking,
I have them at 500 right now because I want to see what the young guys do.
right, especially in that division, because you got to play the Yankees and the Rays and the Red Sox all year long.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and like I said with the Red Sox, with losing Mookie and Price, the coach is gone. You guys see how this coach is going to react.
Yeah.
And we'll see what the penalties is when it comes out in a couple weeks.
All right, so let's get into the Red Sox, and we both have them at 4.
Yeah, like I just think like with they did trade Mookie and Price because they need money, come off the books, and they did get a top prospect from the Dodgers back to hopefully replace Mookie, but he's very young, didn't play much with the Dodgers because they have a stacked outfield.
Right.
So this is his time to prove himself. And after that, it's kind of like, Chris Sale. He's older. He has been himself last season. It's a big question mark after like that pitching.
Yeah, so that's what I had in my notes. I said that the Red Sox need to figure out their 5th starter because they currently don't have one.
Yeah.
Are they going to settle on a 5th starter, or they're going to use an opener? I don't know. Pedroia was placed on a 60-day DL to make room for right-handed pitcher Phillips Valdez.
It's time for him to hang him up.
Right, and this is what I'm thinking. So Pedroia, he's only appeared in 9 games in the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the same thing. Is it time for him to hang up the cleats? It kind of reminds me of what happened to David Wright.
I think he wants to try one more time, and we'll see what his body will feel like come mid-season, and then he might do a swan song, come up like David, play one game,
That's
and
what I'm
like
thinking.
thank you.
That's what I'm thinking.
Because it's about time. He's done a great job, and unfortunately, health kicks in and injuries when you're older in your career. But yeah, like I see that if this team does stumble, which there's a good possibility they will, and then I don't think they might do the opener because they have an older manager now. If they had a younger manager that, he might step in his old ways, or maybe the GM will convince him because, he's from Tampa Bay, which he kind of maybe set up.
I mean, it might be an older manager, but he's been in the club. He's been on the team for a while, so he sees the trends that are going on, and he knows you got to adapt or die.
And especially if this is like a trial year. If maybe he does well, he can be the full-time manager after this year. Because remember, technically, he's the intern manager.
Right. I think he'll make the decisions that gets the team in the best position to win.
Yeah. And then, the Orioles, the worst team in baseball last 2 years, and I think this year is going to be even worse.
Yeah, man. Look, can I go on this one first?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so I got the Orioles. They traded away Villar.
Yes.
They signed Jorge Iglesias. I mean, he's a great defensive infielder, but he's not going to be adding a lot of offense to the Orioles, and that's what they need.
No.
And check this out. Their starting rotation is straight trash.
Well, they traded Bundy to the Angels.
Look, their best pitcher projection. So I saw the projections yesterday. Their best pitcher is John Means. He finished the season with 3.6 ERA and a 12-11 record, followed by Alex Cobb.
I was like, I know they still have Cobb under contract.
And his ERA last season was a 10.95. Yeah, he's a number 2 guy. And guess what? After that, they got, or maybe they got Asher. I'm going to ruin this guy's name, but Wojciechowski. He had a 4.92 ERA, and then they got Wade LeBlanc at a 5.71 ERA, and then they top it off with Co Stewart, who had a 6.39 ERA.
Yeah.
Come on, man. You're not going to win.
They're straight in like rebuild mode.
We're talking 47-game win season.
Like the first year with this new GM, he drafted like 15 pitchers in his first draft. So he knew exactly what he needed to do that first year.
Well, all the guys are letting go or giving away. They should be trading for pitching or something.
I think that's why they trade Bundy to get some prospects. They're realizing, and the trade with Machado, the guy hasn't worked out yet. He's been stuck at AA last year. But at least they have this prize number 1 pick from last year, the catcher, Aldi Rushman. Like some people saying he could be a top 10 catcher right now in Major League.
Okay.
Because he has so much power. Like they said in batting practice, he was hitting the homes behind Orioles field. That's how far the ball was going.
Well, if that's the case, then they need to get rid of some of their other catchers to get some pitching.
I don't see him coming up till maybe end of next year.
Look, hold on. Okay, if he's a top 10 catcher right now in the eyes of some people, why not get him up here for the experience? You're not competitive right now. You're not going to get it done.
Main reason, 6 years of time. If you're going to lose for 2 of those years, why waste them? Might as well keep him in minor leagues.
That's not wasting it. If you guys, well, look, that's a bad way of doing it. That's why I like what we did with Pete Alonso last year. The best players play.
Yeah.
You're not doing
maybe next year. Maybe he competes where we have to put him on the team.
Look, you're not doing your fans any kind of justice by keeping these guys down.
I hope we see him in AAA this year here in Norfolk.
So what about Hunter Harvey or Austin Hayes or Mountcastle?
Okay, so Harvey is going to be very interesting. A former top first-round pick. He's been great out of the bullpen since coming back from his surgeries. It's a possibly where you want to finally look at him as a starter maybe halfway through this year. If he's still healthy, he's coming out of the bullpen, being solid. Is it time to give him a starter opportunity again? Because he was potential a very high ceiling pitcher, and then the injuries stockpiled on him, but last year he came out of the bullpen here in AAA, and then he got called up and did well.
What about Austin Hayes? I mean, he can rake. Is this guy going to get a call? I don't know.
They have I think it's time for Hayes to be that bright spot in the organization to at least try to sell tickets.
Well, that's okay. So what I'm saying is, if you're going to bring up Hayes, why not bring up the other guys so they can get some chemistry? That way, in a couple of years, you got a good team that knows each other.
It probably would have been a possibility if they still expanded to 40 men.
Yeah.
Now with only expanding 2 spots. But hey, if they're that desperate, maybe we'll trade them Tebow so they can get some ticket sales.
Oh, they could bring Tebow up. Huh. Because there's definitely no room for him right now in the Mets uniform.
No.
But I could make an argument that he could put on an Orioles uniform.
And especially now a DH position, which he could possibly grow into eventually.
We're not going to get anything for him in return, though. Maybe a baseball
player
bat,
to be named later, maybe.
Cash and a couple of bats.
But saying Orioles, if you want to sell tickets, there's a way to do it. So
okay.
But I have them only winning 55 games. I don't see I feel like between them and Tigers, we'll talk about Tigers, I feel like it's gonna be who's gonna get the worst record again.
So the Orioles are definitely gonna be a 100-game loser.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
They're gonna get the number 2 pick this year in the draft because Tigers had the worst record. They had the number 1 pick last year. They got the catcher. So it's definitely them and Tigers are straight rebuild mode.
Absolutely. So I couldn't agree more.
Definitely. So very interesting to see what the Rays can do, what the Yankees do with these injuries and stuff.
All right. Well, let's talk about the AL Central then.
AL Central. This is the division that could make a lot of noise between, let's say the top 3.
Okay. Well, I don't know if we have the same top 3.
So number 1, I had the Twins winning again.
I have the Twins at number 1
because I feel like they've been one of the busiest teams this offseason. Yeah. After getting swept by the Yankees, something hit a fire and they decided to sign a bunch of veterans and other players to compete this year.
Right. The Twins, they've been attracting free agents and players want to be there.
Yeah.
I think they honestly is because they feel like the Twins can win a World Series soon.
Yeah, they did win, I think, just shy or just at 100 games last year. Unfortunately, they got swept by the Yankees in 3. But when you add, let's see, let's start this list off. We have Michael Pineda, Alex Ava,
Alex Avila, the catcher. Yep.
Romo.
Okay.
Tyler Clippard, Rich Hill, Homer Bailey, Josh Donaldson, and Kenta Maeda.
Wow.
All got added between trades and signings this year.
Wow, that's pretty good. But even though they still added those, I think they're still looking for starting pitchers. They have some good prospects that are in spring training, like Royce Lewis, who scored 3 runs in a game on Friday. They also have recently named MVP in the Arizona Fall League. So he won a championship there as well. 20-year-old and number 1 overall pick by the Twins in 2017, and he is a shortstop.
Yeah.
So is he going to get the call if they got that team together?
This is where the young players from last year, they did some well knowledge, and then now you're adding Josh Donaldson with what he did with Atlanta last year, adding all this pitching because you feel like that's where you kind of lost the Yankees because you're starting pitching. You added Rich Hill, Homer Bailey to that 1-year deal.
So you got some veterans.
and then you got the trade to get Maeda to possibly be your,
Yeah, that could be a good mesh.
it's going to be a very veteran heavy, and then maybe when they, like I said, bring these prospects up where this team could definitely make some damage.
Yeah, they could make some noise for sure.
So it's like, after getting swept, you definitely, so what pretty much they added the most was the pitching, and they're hoping the new players will step up and get them over the hump into the ALCS next year.
So they want to build a team to beat the Yankees. That's
Because I
their
feel
goal.
like every year that's who they get.
Right.
Because what was it? They finished second and third last year because Astros had the number one record, so they got the wild card, and unfortunately, you get swept again.
Yeah.
So who's your second team in the division?
I got number 2 in the AL Central. I have down as the White Sox.
Same here.
Okay, man, we are on it today. How is this even possible?
Right. So, with adding all the players they did as well, they've been one of the other teams to compete with the Twins with adding players this all season.
Yeah, they've definitely been busy.
Yeah, they finally got their catcher they wanted with
Yasmani Grandal.
Then they finally adding, some veteran pitching with Gio Gonzalez, which his rotation from being drafted to White Sox and now full circle to back to the White Sox.
They also added starting pitcher Dallas Keuchel. Yep.
And then also added Edwin Carcion.
Encarnacion.
Yeah.
As a DH.
Yep.
Yeah. And they also added Luis Robert. He's a top outfield prospect, and they signed him to a 6-year, $50 million deal.
Yes.
And they acquired Nomar Mazara, an outfield as well.
Yep. So this team has many young prospects.
Yep.
They've been building, and they realize that the prospects are pretty much ready. They got the starting pitching they decided to need because they also have Carlos Rendon and then Michael Kopech coming off of injuries.
Oh, yeah. Kopech.
Kopech had Tommy John on the season before, so he missed all last season. And he's going to come up probably early mid-season. Rendon, they figured about the same thing. So if Rendon's anything like he was before, then Kopech, throwing 100+.
Right. And like you said, they've been adding a lot of pitchers.
With Keuchel, Gio.
They've been doing it right. And they also got a bullpen guy. They got Steve Cishek.
Yes.
They added him to the bullpen. So that's they're trying, they're thinking about it, man.
Yeah,
And not to mention the last couple episodes, you and I have both been talking how we like what they've been doing with the other players.
Yeah.
They're building it.
Like when you traded, we talked about with the Red Sox. Wow. Why would we draw blame? But, when they added Moncada and Kopech with that trade,
Right.
we knew okay, they're rebuilding. They're straight rebuilding mode. And then Kopech has come up. Unfortunately, he got called up, then got Tommy John injury. So he missed all last season. Moncada is finally coming to his own at third base. And like you said, the young guys are finally, they got called up. They're getting these early contracts, so they stay there longer. Signing your catcher, you're hoping these veteran pitchers.
Right. So the White Sox think the time is now.
I think it is because I'm almost certain now with us both having White Sox, we probably both have Cleveland at 3.
Yes.
Because we all figure that Cleveland's now at the back end where they're in that weird transition period.
Right.
Is it time to start trading players? We're about to rebuild.
Right. They've been really good, but they lost some of the team.
Yeah.
And now it's time to figure it out.
And I feel like besides the Twins, White Sox are looking like this could be it.
Yeah, and it could.
And they can compete for wild card team depending on what happens.
They might not even need the wild card. Like I said, I like the team that they've built. And if they're all playing good together, they can do it.
The biggest thing with me is that if the young players make a step up and then the pitching works out, they could compete with the Twins, but I still have them losing, I think, by 8 games in the division.
Right, but that could mean that anything can happen. They can go on a streak.
Someone can get hurt.
Exactly. And especially the way that we've been seeing the young guys playing in the league the past couple years, when they get brought up and they get a chance, they've been producing.
Yes.
So I'm not putting it past them to win the division possibly.
I feel like what the White Sox is what we saw from Atlanta Braves a couple years ago.
Right.
When they got all these young players, they finally add a couple veterans, a mesh, and they make a run a year early.
Exactly.
I feel like White Sox could be that
They
year
could be
early
that
team.
Yep.
We can see where they make that step where they're almost there, and then next year they do it, or they can be that surprise Braves where they somehow put it together. Twins lose a couple players from injuries, and they make the best of it and win the division.
Hey, man. Yeah, exactly. Who knows? They could be like the 2015 Mets. You're not supposed to be there.
Right, we're hoping for a wild card team, and somehow we win the division and go to the World Series.
Exactly.
They could be that team. Like, yeah,
Right. Okay. So we both got the Indians at 3.
yeah. I'd feel like trading Kluber, couple early injuries. If they stumble, that's when they're going to have to look. The GM's have to look at if they're going to trade Lindor or not.
Okay.
Because with one more year under control after this year, you're definitely going to get more this trade deadline for him because he's this part of the season and then next year.
So, okay. So like you said, they could be in transition mode. The one thing that I had written down is that they invited their number 1 prospect to the big league camp, Nolan Jones.
Yes.
He had surgery on his thumb in the offseason, but he played AA ball last year. He also played in the Futures game. He's the number 37 prospect in all of baseball right now, according to MLB Pipeline. But he has been kept in the minors because there's nowhere for him to play currently. The Indians might need him this season. If he has to switch positions to get the call, that might have to happen. But I think he is at the level where he needs to play in the big leagues.
Yeah. Like I said, if they lose early, that's time where you're like, look, we need a spark. Maybe he comes up with that spark, and then it still doesn't work out. That's when trade deadline gets close, and you're talking Lindor, try to get some prospects to help him grow that young team.
Right.
Like, okay, we need a pitcher, we need this. It's unfortunately when you have a player which you're afraid to have to pay him, which the going rate nowadays is 10 years, $300 million for some of these players. So you're looking at like, do I want to spend $300 million on one player, or can I trade him to future players where I can spread the money out?
I know that you and I both have the Indians at 3, but I think all the big guys put them ahead of
the White Sox.
The White Sox, for
yeah,
sure.
A lot of the projections I've seen, like USA Today, MLB, I just don't think with losing Kluber and then Brian Mallett with the injury woes, which they're not quite sure what his going with him. So, which they thought he was going to step in, not really miss a beat with losing Kluber. That's why they traded him.
Well,
but now you're losing your other ace, which is supposed to replace him. So I think they could stumble early.
Okay.
Unless they face Kansas City and Detroit a lot, then they might be okay.
You know what, man? I have a feeling that we both got the AL Central exactly the same as well.
Assuming Orioles, Tigers?
You mean Royals?
Royals, yeah.
Yep, exactly. Because I know you mentioned the Tigers, how they suck.
Yeah, like, the Royals, they're still in rebuilding mode. Now they have a new manager this year because retirement from their old manager. I really don't I think really this year with them, they're seeing where their young players can grow and could possibly compete next year.
I agree. I put down that they're not ready to contend just yet. But they do have a lot of top pitching prospects, and this is something that the Yankees could look at because right now they have the top 4 pitching prospects that made their spring training debut. So for the Royals, the Royals' number 2 prospect, Brady Singer, he retired the Indians in order, striking out 2 in the 4th inning in his game. His fastball was reaching 95 miles per hour. They also have Jackson Cower, who's the number 5 in their system. He gave up a home run in the first batter he faced, and then he hit a batter, walked one, gave up an RBI single. So he didn't have a great day. Mm-hmm. But the number 3 prospect, Daniel Lynch, faced 5, didn't give up any hits. And then the number 6 in their prospects, Chris Bubic, he pitched 2 innings, striking out 3. I mean, I'd give the young guys a little bit of playing time if I was in a position, but they have a lot of pitching prospects. The Yankees need to go ahead and get them on the phone.
Yeah, I feel like if maybe the young guys that Yankees have don't work out, it's when you look at these teams that have extra pitching. Like,
right.
It won't surprise me if they try to reach out the Mets.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either.
Like for like Mats or whoever doesn't win the position,
absolutely.
like, look, we'll give you a prospect for this guy.
Or in the Phillies organization, or where Wheeler went, because isn't he fighting for a starting spot too?
Like the rotation where they're
right.
Yeah, like Royals, they're gonna grow. We'll see what their pitching does, and they have some definitely young talent, some young bats. So we'll see if they can recreate
like you said,
this year.
They're building their team. They're not ready to compete.
And then Tigers, it's almost the same thing. Like they'll compete for the number one worst record with the Orioles. They have the number 1 pick this year. I feel like their main highlight, they're about 2-3 years away from competing. They have 4 players in the top 100 prospects.
Right.
Their highlight is going to see their top prospect, Casey Miz, probably making his debut this year.
Yeah, he's a number 7 overall prospect.
Yeah, he was their first round pick, I think, 2 years ago.
In his spring debut, he allowed 2 earned runs on 3 hits and a walk. He only recorded 3 outs. But yeah, I mean, he's the number 24 overall prospect, number 2 in the Tigers organization.
Yeah. There's not really much else to talk about. Though.
Well, let's see. Let's see. Mize retired 6 of 8 that he faced. And he faced actual legit Braves.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, so I think he got to, let's see. Yeah, he got to face people like Acuna, Freeman, Ozzie Albies, and different ones. Their 2019 number 1 first round pick, Riley Green, he got 3 at-bats against the Pirates and didn't disappoint. He drew 2 walks and then blasted a home run in a 3rd plate appearance. So I think we might see him get a call. Either way, the team looks like they might be able to contend in a couple seasons. Not right now.
Yeah, I have them almost the same record as the Orioles. I don't know who's worse yet at 55 games winning.
I agree. Is Miguel Cabrera still playing for them?
Yes.
Oh, well, he's doing good.
I think he has 1 year left.
Well, then I'm
1 or 2. It's
yeah.
not much left. He's the reason why they're selling tickets probably still.
Right. He did pretty good this spring training today, so he's still.
Yeah, I saw he hit a home
getting
run.
done.
So,
Right.
but yeah, so like I said, Twins definitely the favorite. White Sox can make some noise. Cleveland, if they stumble early, they might sell and start being rebuilt. Kansas City and Detroit rebuild mode still.
But the good thing about Kansas City and Detroit, they got a lot of prospects.
They have a lot of prospects.
The
They're
future
in
looks
no
bright.
rush. They're realizing, like, watching what Atlanta and now the White Sox have done in their own division, where, yes, they were terrible for a couple of years, but now they get these prospects where they're signing early contracts. That's going to compete for at least 4 or 5 years because how young these players are.
So who do you think has better prospects, the Tigers or the Orioles?
That's going to be tough. Like, right now, I think the Orioles have a slight edge.
Too early to call. We'll see.
It is because, but if Orioles catcher says what they do say with him, if he's already like a top 10 catcher already,
Okay.
we'll see with that.
All right. Well, with that being said, let's go ahead and move into the AL West, where I know we got a difference.
Possibly. All right, the AL West. So, the whole thing with the Astros being the defending couple years, I don't have them win the division this year.
What?
I feel like this is going to be too much of a distraction, and losing Garrett Cole is going to be too much.
I thought for sure, based on our top 10s, that because how I kept putting them down there, I figured that you would go with it.
No.
So who do you have?
So I have the Oakland A's winning the division.
Okay. So we are different.
So, they were the wild card team last year. They lost to the Rays in the game. I just feel like with that lineup, they have the young guys and getting their top pitching prospects back this year from injury and stuff. I think they'll finally put it together and maybe win the division this year.
Yeah. Starting out in spring training, they're starting out on a good note. Mike Fiers, the whistleblower on the sign stealing scandal, he pitched an immaculate inning.
Yeah.
He threw 9 pitches for strikes and recorded 3 strikeouts.
Yeah, like I said with Tampa Bay Rays, this team does not sign players because they don't have money. Like, they're a small market. So losing to the Rays, last year in the wild card game, but the biggest thing from them, I think, is going to be pitching with this team. If they grow and win or they lose, with Mancina now fully recovered and their top prospects Lizard and Putt have arrived, we'll see what this team can put together.
Yeah, the last 2 seasons they've had 97 wins in the last 2 seasons each,
And
that's
with
pretty
pitching
good.
being down for them,
That's what I'm saying. Like, the team, they know how to get it done. They can absolutely be
they have arguably
a dark horse.
one of the best third baseman and first baseman in baseball. So you put them together with some decent pitching.
Right. That's all you need.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't like Astros. I feel like missing Cole and the distraction what this off season is going to be with all this news. I don't know if they're going to be focused, and we'll see. Maybe Dusty can right the ship and make something different. But Greinke now just showed up to spring training on the last day possible. He said, if I knew this was the whole thing, I would never showed up.
Exactly. He said he'd show up on the last day every time.
So, but yeah, I feel like they can finally put together. I think it's gonna be close. I have them at 93 wins compared to my second team at 90 wins.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be real close throughout the year. And then like the third team I have is 89 wins. That's why I think it's so close.
So it could go either way.
Yeah, it really could.
And I think that's my train of thought as well. My number one is one that most people aren't going to have up there, but I like what they're doing.
I know where you're going with this.
So my number one in the AL West, I have written down in black and white, the Angels.
Yeah, Angels have it number 2.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay,
Yeah.
great. So the Angels, their biggest acquisition this past offseason was Anthony Rendon. I'm almost positive that's who you would say as well.
Yeah, I have Anthony Rendon, and of course the trade with Darren Bundy, and then getting a 1-year contract from Julio Tirinta, Braves' old ace.
Okay. So yeah, I don't know if those signings are going to be enough to overtake the Astros in the West, but
I just think it's finally pitching depth for
right.
for Angels, because like they took a shot on like Matt Harvey last year and it went terrible. Of course, they had the unfortunate passing of their pitcher last year.
Right. So and that's what I'm thinking. They need to go ahead and call the Tigers and get some of those pitching prospects on their team because they're going to need them. The only other thing I can think that the Angels can do at this time is I think it would be beneficial for you guys to actually look into signing Puig.
Yeah, that's of course the biggest
just
free
because of
agent
that.
that's
Just
out
because
there.
of that trade that went south.
Yeah, they wasn't sure if that trade was
With
going to
Jock.
happen, so they get it with Jock Peterson.
Right.
He could definitely be like, if anyone can control him with now your new manager John Madden, I feel like Madden can control Puig.
Right. We know the guy can play. He might
Yeah.
have an attitude, but I feel like the Angels could really benefit from having
And I
somebody
think
like
the
him on their team.
Biggest thing with the Angels is either now or right before the trade deadline is getting that pitcher. They need that ace
Right.
kind of pitcher. If someone stumbles and their ace is out there, it's like, even though unfortunately they don't have prospects to trade because they really they have 2 outfield prospects that's almost ready to come up within months of each other, they're saying, but it's with that outfield, it's going to be kind of.
You think they're going to be a better addition than Puig?
I think Puig would be great for a 1-year rental.
Right. That's
Let
what
him
I
prove
feel.
himself. Give our prospects another year. Maybe call one of them up.
Right.
Because yes, they have Justin Upton still, I think, for 1 more year. I can't remember exactly, but if you can bring one of your young guys up to get some at bats, if Justin goes out early or if we don't sign Puig,
We need Justin Upton of like 5 years ago.
yeah. So yeah, I feel like Angels 90 games, I think is a solid number for them. If they get some pitching together, add a pitcher, and then I guess we both.
Well,
Do you have Oakland at 2?
I don't.
You,
I had
so
them
you have
at
them at 3.
Yep.
So you have Astros at 2.
But like you said, these top 3 in this division could easily interchange with each other.
yeah. So I have the Astros at 3, 89 wins. I feel like it's gonna be too much of a distraction.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have the Asterix at 2. I didn't even write the Astros name down.
So they're defending AL champs, lost to the Nationals in the World Series, but with all this all-season mess, you're losing your GM and manager.
Right. And I feel the way you feel. It's going to be a lot of distractions. And if they can overcome those distractions, they definitely have the right skipper who can help them get to where they need to go.
Yeah. And then losing Garrett Cole to the Yankees, where
That's big.
you had the 1-2 in Cy Young between Verlander and Cole.
Right.
Yes, Greinke's a good pitcher, but he's definitely at this tail end of his prime, if that. So he's a solid number 2.
Did he almost pitch a perfect game last year?
He had a perfect or no against the Yankees going right before he got traded.
Ah, okay. I like Greinke, man. I think if anybody's going to replace Garrett Cole, it's at least you have a good name.
Yeah,
pitcher
he's not
who's
going to get the
gonna
300
done.
strikeouts like Cole did.
No,
but he's going
gonna
to put
be
up a solid number 2.
You're going to be competitive.
But like I said, with Cole's there is end of his career getting
Right.
there, and so is Verlander.
Yep. Every year I'm always
So-
crossing my fingers like, Verlander, you still got it, buddy? And he shows me he does, but you're right.
So yeah, the biggest thing with Astros is all these players like Springer last year's deal.
Yeah.
Carrera has 2 years left on his deal. So with
It's true. So this is a now or never kind of situation.
this season could be it.
And with all
Because
the
I think
controversy going on,
Greinke,
this might
this
be
is his last year that he's under contract.
right.
It's where
Yeah, man, I agree. I think there's too much pressure this year. Plus, with everybody on a 1-year kind of rental,
and then who knows how they'll actually play without not having the trash can.
well, yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I know Bregman did well the other day, but This is spring
Bregman's been
training.
that talent. So and then
We'll see.
and
We'll see what
especially if you want like Springer, you want to do good since this is your contract year.
happens. Yeah.
But it's still he's arguably one of the top 3 center fielders, so he's going to get paid. It just depends on what he's going to get paid. So
right.
he's
So-
your number 2. So I'm assuming your Oakland is 3.
Yep.
So then the last 2,
Eh.
Texas, their biggest name is like they got Kluber.
Well, what do you have, Texas? Is that your 4?
Yeah,
That's my 4 too.
yeah.
Um,
I feel like they're like a 500 team. I got them at 81 possibly.
okay.
Because the biggest thing with them is with Kluber now is your ace. You have him for 2 years. They have a good rotation for at least for the next 2 years. All comes down to the everyday lineup, with a mix of young and vets could make some noise.
Okay.
And of course, their biggest thing this year is opening their brand new $1.2 billion roof.
Right. That's the only thing that I actually put up here is like the biggest headline for this team is the fact they're going to be playing in a new stadium, basically.
Yeah, they hope this brand new beautiful stadium will get them future free agents to come there.
Well, look, man, nobody's expecting them to do anything, so there's no pressure getting put on them. So if they can just relax and play some baseball, they might even compete.
Yeah.
They have a rookie left-handed pitcher, Brock Burke.
Yep.
But he's going to miss the season with shoulder injury, so that's one thing that goes against them. Who knows? Like you said,
Yeah,
we're not expecting much.
The vets, I think, will help the young guys come up. They have some prospects that it came up. They didn't really make that step. Like
I feel
they do have Todd Frazier to hopefully maybe be that veteran clubhouse guy.
and
So
he could be that guy.
he could be where it could help those young guys. They're in a brand new ballpark. It's beautiful looking.
Yeah, it looks great.
Unfortunately, they had a fire, but they had it taken care of. Another one got hurt.
Why is always these Texas stadiums always having these issues? Like
Well,
when the
I did like they do have
Cowboy Stadium was
yeah.
built. And
They
this.
do need a retractable field where they control the temperature, especially during the summer. 'Cause
Oh,
no
yeah,
one loved
nobody-
playing
yeah,
there,
right.
with that open heat.
I feel bad for the Rangers because about, I don't know, was it 5 or 6 years ago, they had a couple of chances to win the World Series. They were 1 out away twice, basically.
Oh my God! So that year, I remember that's when I had my apartment down by the beach, and I was like, okay, they were 1 out away from winning the World Series. I'm like, they're about to win. Thank you. And then David Freese hit the home run to send them to the next night, and then still did it.
And then they got
And I
back
felt for-
there, didn't they? They got
No,
back there either.
they lost the first year, and then they got 1 out away. Was that second year?
Oh my God. I
and
felt
then
bad for
after
no-
that, Ron Washington is now, I think he's the third base manager for the Braves, I think now. But yeah, they
Well,
were
I
right.
felt-
They were so close.
I felt bad for Nolan Ryan, man. He was.
He built that team. But and then with Seattle, they're like what we said with Detroit and Orioles. They are straight rebuild mode.
right.
They'll be competing for the worst record with Tigers and Orioles, and they know they finally committed because they let King Felix walk.
Yep.
So he finally said his
Been
goodbye
there
last year. He's pretty much career Seattle through the thick and thin, and so they let him go. And then we knew this was coming before last off season when they traded with the Mets with Cano dumping that paying half that contract remaining, and then but they're getting prospects back. They have 5 top 100 prospects, so we can see them in the next 2 years. So about 2-3 years they can compete, just like the other two with Detroit and Orioles.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, it's spring training. There's a lot of things to get excited about. But one of the greatest players of all time is dressing up and throwing BP and hitting a infield. Ichiro's out there. No, he's not making a comeback, but he is out there shagging fly balls. I think they even have him scheduled to throw out the ceremonial first pitch during their home game.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm not expecting anything great from this team this year. I expect them to be a 100-game loser.
No, the biggest thing is watching some of the pitching. Like one of the players that we traded in the Mets, Justin Dunn, he'll compete for early position in that rotation. He's a former first round pick that I liked. Unfortunately, I like the trade, and then the other guy with we traded Koleknik, the outfield prospect.
Okay.
They said he's processing real quick through the organization where he could be a late season call up if
figures.
they needed.
Most of the time when people leave our organization, it's for the better for their career.
Well, when you're a high
Justin
schooler,
Turner.
especially like he was a high schooler, top 10 pick,
Okay.
and apparently he has ran with it. So it's definitely interesting with Seattle. Like, hopefully they put something together. Fortunately, they've been that team where they've won 100-something games, number one pick, and they lose to the wild card team.
Yep.
And then you had King Griffey Jr. and Randy Johnson. You still couldn't win with them.
Oh, man.
Man, but so.
That's okay. And you had Ichiro, too. He couldn't get it done.
Yeah, Uchiha's still, still that beast and future Hall of Famer. But, well, hopefully this, everyone's the new GM. He comes in, he's got to put his mark. He traded those players, those bad contracts, and now he sounds like he's getting his team that he wants together.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see. I mean, they got some time because they're not competing this year. That's for sure.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, that's all our divisions now for the AL. So now we're going to talk about our way too early AL predictions.
Okay.
So ultimately, I just did the rank, best record. Rank Yankees will be number 1.
Okay.
Twins will have the second best record in my book.
Okay.
With I say like Oakland win the division, they'll have the third, and then the wild card teams I have Rays and Angels as my wild card teams. You have Angels as winning the division,
right? I have Angels win the division.
So then you would probably have maybe the White Sox or Houston in that other wild card slot.
Right.
Kinda.
I'm pulling closer to White Sox, dark horse.
Yeah. So like we said, how I have it where the Rays and Angels would face each other, I feel like unless Angels get that ace pitcher at the trade deadline in the wild card game, I feel like Rays will do it again, win the wild card game.
Right.
Because they can start where they can do that opener and then throw one of their top pitchers out and then just be lights out like they did this past wild card game.
So depending on the wild card game, if that was a scenario, do you think the Angels would throw Ohtani as a pitcher, or is he going to hit that game?
See, that's going to be the biggest dark horse with this team is if they some people hearing that they might pull a Japan where he only pitches on Sunday to let him hit during the rest of the week.
I would
early
agree
part
with
of the
that.
season, which I don't see a problem with that, especially
I would
early
do that
on
as well.
To let him get back into pitching because he is coming from the Tommy John surgery and stuff.
So I guess it depends on how he performs.
Yeah, that's gonna be the biggest thing. So like I said, so ultimately I have the Rays winning that one. So then the Rays would have to face the Yankees.
Oof.
Which they're going to be battling all season for this division.
Right. That's like
they're going to know each other, and you're talking about.
Yeah.
I have them going 5 games. I have Yankees in 5, edging out because of Garrett Cole.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it really doesn't matter. Like you said, if you're playing someone in your division, it might as well be like the ACC teams. Any team can compete because you know each other so well.
Exactly. And then playing and Yankees, I think that's why I give them the edge because they'll be in Yankee Stadium. Garrett Cole, will set it up where lifetime Yankees fan.
Well, I mean, if you put it on paper, I automatically would have the Yankees with an advantage just based on the names I'm looking at.
The lineup, the pitching,
everything.
Yeah. Then ultimately, how I have it is Twins and Oakland.
Okay.
And I think Twins would edge it out by all the players they got this offseason.
I think so too.
I have Twins in 5. I think both divisions.
Twins have built their team to compete with the Yankees.
Yes. So, and then ultimately they get to face the Yankees in the ALCS. Rematch of last year, but this time it's 7 games.
Oof.
I have Yankees winning in 6.
I mean, I would not disagree with you.
Yeah.
I'd pull for the Twins in that situation.
Yeah, I would too, but I think
you're right. The Yankees are too tough. But like you said, it all comes down to do they got the pitchers by that time?
That's the big thing. I did this before we find out was going to be out for the year.
Okay.
So it depends on if these younger guys can step up, they sign a veteran, or they trade for someone with the Yankees. But there's still that everyday lineup if everyone comes healthy and average.
Right. So we both agree that the Yankees and Twins, we think highly of them and they should do well regardless. We hope. I mean, we're assuming.
I really hope like if they do end up facing each other in the ALCS is where they go 6 or 7.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Because I'd be damned if they made all this headway, they finally get to go the next round then they get swept.
I would like to see 7 games. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, I think the best, especially with baseball, with you always playing repetitively. Like you don't want too big of a layoff.
Right.
And,
right. You don't want to sit there and wait for the next team to finish up their series.
Which that's what I thought was going to happen with Nationals, but
apparently they changed their signs up too quickly.
Changed their sign up. I don't know. The manager just kept them at it at the ballpark waiting for who they're going to face. But because when Nationals swept the Cardinals, I'm like, well, that's not going to be good because that's what happened with us and the Mets.
That's what I thought as well.
Like when we swept the Cubs, like we were this hot team, and then when we got
I know what happened. What happened to us was letting Matt Harvey go back out there to finish that inning. That was it.
Yeah. it hurts to be the Mets fan that we led almost every single game in that series. And
Oh man, who are you telling?
so, but yeah, so ultimately, like I said, I have Yankees winning the AL, representing the AL. Way too early predictions.
Okay.
They could be an injury away where Twins can fall in, or hell, Angels can add that ace and make a run, or it could be the year of the Rays.
A lot of things could happen. Who knows? The White Sox could even throw their hat
Right?
in there,
They sneak into the wild card game, and then they make that run with those young pitchers coming back from injuries. Because Keuchel and that rotation, it's like you don't want to face.
I like the young guys that are in there too.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what they do. All right.
Very much so. So yeah.
Okay. You got anything else to say on top of that?
Only thing else on my phone just went off a little bit ago is Freddie Freeman is dealing with an injury.
Yeah, I saw that. Did they say how serious that was? I saw he had some elbow tightness or something like that.
Yeah, he's out with the elbow injury, and apparently, rumor is he took a lot of pain meds a pain med every game last year, dealing with the injury.
Oh well, if Freddie Freeman's hurt, that could be a big game changer.
It will be, and then that would definitely solidify what some of the people are thinking if the Rays take a step back, especially if they miss him at first base.
Okay, well, look, we're going to keep our eyes on Freddie Freeman and see what happens, and we'll discuss it next week because next week we are going to break down the National League.
Yeah, we'll break it down. We'll get a full week of games.
Right.
Because, games only started on Saturdays, so we get a little taste, but this week there's games every day until next time we see each other. So, yeah. So, all right, y'all. Thank y'all so much. We'll see y'all next time. All right, guys. Thank you for checking out this episode. Please share us if you enjoyed this content. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at AA Sports Podcast. Catch y'all next week. Peace.
For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you. For the record, lab on me going all the way. For the record, ain't trying to link, no time to waste. For the record, for the record. Been a little too nice for y'all. Now I gotta up price on y'all. Snake eyes on dice for y'all. Shoulders on ice for y'all. A6 all the hate. I won't get a ball today. Got lost in the ball and A's. I'm flipping the bars. I'm flipping the on record, off record. I still count wins when they got it. On record, off record. I let them take advantage. Let them take advantage. Let them take advantage.